City and Liverpool share the points and Doku almost killed Mac Allister. Welcome to the corner flag. I'm Amog.
I'm Prashant.
And I'm Mukesh.
Oh, it is good to be here on a day when Liverpool and City may have just lost the title because they cancelled each other out. I'm just saying may have, not definitively saying either way. But it was a very big game and a very big result for Arsenal. And we'll get to that. But Mukesh, before we talk about Premier League football, we need to talk about St. Joseph's Bandra 8 versus 8 football.
Yeah, Amog, that's really the biggest sporting news in this country right now.
That is. And it would be a shame if we didn't talk about it. What I would just like to say is, Mukesh, you came to play football after about, let's say, 6 months.
Holy shit!
I started playing after 6 months. I think I played a game on Sunday, the previous Sunday. So it was my second game in quick succession. But yeah, in general, I've been playing after years almost. Yeah,
almost years. And what that meant was you were very kicked about being in goal. Usually we play 5-on-5, and of course this time around it was 8-on-8, so slightly bigger pitch, bigger goals, which is a lot of fun. And Mukesh, being the excellent goalkeeper that you are, were very excited of being in goal, and you started off really strong. You made some killer saves, man.
Yeah, but then I couldn't save my ankle.
Yeah,
and now I've been bedridden for a week.
Explain your injury, Mukesh. What exactly happened? Because you got injured early on in the game and then you left.
Yeah, I think what happened was, not I think it did happen. My defenders, one of whom was a Moog, left my half empty, and there were 5 attackers coming from the other team. And I had to take them all on one by one, and I had to scare them off. And is what I wish happened, but actually what happened was that I think my studs have gotten really old and they got stuck in the artificial turf, and my ankle twisted itself while I tried to do some cool football maneuver. And now I've been bedridden for a week. Thus demotivating me and Akash to not play football for a while.
I'm a little upset that you're in the middle of all of this. You're calling me out for leaving your box empty as a defender and calling out my defending. Nothing.
Amog was, as usual, excellent, and he was a keeper who subbed in. He was a Kyle Walker of this session, and
made some good saves also.
Yeah, guys.
I don't know if you were there to see that.
I saw a few. I saw a few for sure, and then I had to leave to get, because I was worried I had to get an X-ray. And all is good. I know all the fans of Corner Flag are worried to death about my injury. And let me reassure you that all is well, but football is still injurious to your health.
Yeah. But did you get an X-ray, by the way? Did you have to get an X-ray?
Yeah, I got all the biggest the scans that had to be done. I got them all done, and there's nothing. It's just a minor sprain.
Right.
But at that point, I was like, okay. Yeah. At that point, I was like, okay, I just have to prepare for Disability Olympics. That's a good place for me to start. But yeah.
Fun stuff. It is not a good place for you to start this episode, because first game that we are going to talk about is, of course, the big clash between City and Liverpool. What was dubbed as a clash that could decide this year's title race. Of course, it is still a 3-horse race. Let's not completely discount both City or Liverpool out of this title race. But अच्छा लगता है जब यार after a while it's so tight, and not just between 2 teams but now between 3 teams. So it's for the football watching neutral, I think it's great.
But who watches football as a neutral? I've never understood that phrase. Who's just watching football as a neutral? Even my girlfriend who's not interested in football picks a side because of jersey color. And that's literally the most least interested neutral person. It's like, hey, I like Blues. Let me support the Blues. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
My wife decides to support the team that is playing against the team I support just because life में conflict होना बहुत जरूरी है.
That's
Of course.
true.
So yeah, no, but there was a lot of narrative about this game. You know, like with Klopp having said that he's leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. This was probably the last Premier League meeting between Guardiola and Klopp in a rivalry that has defined the Premier League in the last 4-5 seasons. As two of the best managers, two of the best
seasons,
teams.
Yes. But I guess 5 years, I think, is when Klopp also picked up.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it was. I think it's wow. I was like, also, I mean, especially all the partiality of which side you like aside. I do think it was so sentimental for. I think as a Liverpool fan, even more so. But to be like shit, you can really feel an era coming to end because you also know for Klopp, for Guardiola, it's like he's closer to the end than the beginning of. Even to the middle, right? He's probably going to last for a year or two.
I don't think so.
You think he's going to stay on like a Ferguson or a Wenger?
No. Maybe not like a Ferguson because again, 26 years at a club, I don't think is just sustainable anymore.
Yeah, there are too many managers available.
Yeah, and also like Ferguson staying at Man United for 26 years was different because he was also from a different generation. I feel like the new generation of managers don't have that sort of identity with their club, and if they do, they're not good enough. So it's never the perfect balance of both. And also, you know how we say every generation thinks that the generation that comes after them are snowflakes. Like our parents' generations thought that we've had it way too easy and you know we are good for nothings, and now we think that the next generation is also very very mollycoddled or whatever. तो वो वैसे होता ही रहता है, and I feel that is the same when it comes to managers as well. I don't think there's any manager, good or bad, in world football right now who can sustainably stay at a club for longer than 10 seasons. I don't think it is.
No, fair. I agree with that. So, which means that like he's probably going to be stick around for a little longer. So, I do feel like it was a great rivalry to watch. And it's also, I'm not saying every rivalry should be like this because I don't think that should be the case. But it was nice coming off of Mourinho, Wenger, Mourinho, Guardiola, Ferguson, Wenger, the slightly venomous rivalries, which were good for its own drama, and to come back to these sort of slightly pissy but with tons of mutual respect. Like I think the most acrimonious thing was that they were slightly pissy or passive aggressive with each other. Right, that's probably that's the worst it ever got. But there was so much respect. There were such different styles, and I think, of course, the titles too. I think Guardiola has clearly won more. But I think everyone like if you're a football fan, you're able to contextualize money and see that in terms of coaching, that both of them are equally good. And also I think Klopp has a better record. Way past 50% record against Guardiola. I mean, he's won more games or he's won more points against Guardiola than Guardiola's won against Klopp. So I think it was a great rivalry to be a part of and to be like shit. When it came to when I actually felt like, oh man, I could feel football becoming a little poorer, especially the football that we follow.
Yeah, it just sucks as a United fan to hear you say that, and my team is nowhere in the mix, and they don't even deserve to be, but still it hurts. It hurts a little bit.
You're saying this. You're saying this. You have a good position. Are you kidding me?
अरे पर चेल्सी भी तो ऐसे नया चावल है यार. यूनाइटेड थोड़ा पुराना चावल है ना. Like ऐसा यूनाइटेड का हिस्ट्री थोड़ा ज्यादा है.
And not just that, but I think on United last trophy was like the title was 2013, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And like Chelsea was at least I think 2017-18 they won after that. So they won. So 17. Correct. So I think it's a little more recent.
Exactly.
And where they won the Champions League also. So there's some sort of like Chelsea actually, weirdly, no matter how much shit Chelsea is in, there's always a thing. There's always some trophy that they manage to sneak in.
It's a Chelsea thing. We fuck it up.
It's
a Chelsea thing.
Chelsea was Manchester City before Manchester City was a thing.
Yeah. A lot of our listeners actually sent in questions about the City versus Liverpool game and Trash. You'll bring up those questions. Instead of doing a segment in the middle, we've thought, because a lot of questions were about this game, we just kind of pepper them into this discussion. But let's get into detail about this game. Of course, lots of narrative, like I said, about Klopp versus Guardiola in the Premier League for the last time, about how this result, either way, a Liverpool win, a City win, or a draw, would affect the title race, and that's how tight it is at the top. And now with these two teams drawing, Arsenal are top of the league, and it is their title
on
to
goal
lose.
difference. On goal difference. So that's like
sure,
the key thing to add.
But with the way Arsenal are going,
It's still there.
And with the way they are smashing teams left, right, and center.
Yeah, and they don't seem tired like they usually did. Like, even last season, by this phase, they seem so exhausted. Whereas I think this time Liverpool seemed like the exhausted team. And City looked like the more motivation-less team, and you can't really blame them for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does good for Arsenal because they look so recharged, which is really surprising.
Yeah. It is. But yes, it was Kevin De Bruyne's corner that led to a John Stones goal in the first half. That opened the scoring.
Goal.
What was that pass?
This is
good goal.
This is what I envy about City, right? And City this season have looked like they can give other teams a chance to get into the game. They've not looked as solid at the back as they usually look. Of course, when it comes to them going on the attack, they are one of the best teams in the world. But they've this season looked like a team that can ship goals. And in this game at Anfield, with the atmosphere that Anfield created, Liverpool were on the front foot throughout. Like, Liverpool were pressing Man City. Man City didn't get a sniff in the game, but that one corner just changed things. Because what a delivery, what a tactical masterclass. You know, Ake pushing Mac Allister away and clearing the path for Stones to come in and make that finish at the near post. And
very clever.
And even the technical brilliance of that delivery to be such a low-driven cross with just about edged on the touchline.
And also for it to be a player like Stones, right? It wasn't practiced with Haaland, who's probably marked a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
But or even someone like a Kyle Walker, right? You would probably mark him, but somehow between John Stones and Bernardo Silva, like, I feel like there are only two people who would be sort of in such set pieces, they will be mildly marked and not as strongly. So I thought it was very cleverly, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect person to push Mac Allister away.
Yeah.
Because I think Darwin Núñez was left to mark John Stones. So, know, even Liverpool weren't taking him that seriously. So I thought that was very, very clever. Yeah. And in many ways, this game was also like the perfect mix of what a Klopp and Guardiola thing is, right? Like, what the games are like. Oh, it was so good. It was so good to see that. I was really stunned by that. That was a very, very good goal. It felt like a good, like, if you have to consider a goal, you know, it's like, okay, it wasn't a blunder, or it wasn't like you felt like, you know, it's a good cheeky goal to let in. Like, hey, well played. Yeah. It's like a thumbs up one.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have been this happy about it if there was no draw, by the way. I mean, that's sportive and all, but if we had lost 3 points, I'd be like, oh, fucking Darwin.
But are you saying that 1 point with that Liverpool performance is something that you'll take?
No, obviously not. I do think, with that squad, I will take 1 point because it's that squad versus a City squad that's fucking, they got on Doku, and I think Ruben Dias was on the bench. Like, again, I keep telling people that this is what 115 charges means. Like, it's not just things on a document, right? It's like, look at the bench, dude.
Document.
Oh, man. Well done.
Come on. You have to.
Yeah.
That line was as good as a Kevin De Bruyne cross into John Stones. It was perfectly executed.
I didn't see it coming.
Execution is what it deserves, but okay.
Nobody saw it coming. That's the beauty of it.
Much like the goals. Much like the corner that De Bruyne said.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I think definitely with that squad, I think I was messaging a lot of Liverpool fan the fact that there was no Trent.
There's two interesting questions, right? And I wanted to bring up one of them. The first one is with Endo. So Ashwin says that Ashwin 040 says Endo is a class apart. Draw is okay, but Liverpool had City gone in the second half.
Okay, sorry. I have to say this, right? I think in this game, Wataru Endo was a much better number 6 than Rodri. I think Wataru Endo bossed that midfield. There were times when it was 1 versus 3 and he was still winning the ball. He possessed, like, I think there was one statistic that said he didn't even do one long pass. I mean, he just kept it tight. He resisted that urge. He got the memo. And I think in this game, of course, everyone knows Rodri is probably the best midfielder. But I think in this game, the way Wataru Endo played, I think there were 2 Liverpool players who really surprised me. One is the centre-back, Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa. And I think Wataru Endo were incredible. It also makes me wonder, for the first time Liverpool had such a solid midfield, right? Mac Allister, Wataru Endo and Dominic Szoboszlai. And I was like, oh my God, if we just had this 2 seasons ago, sort of a proper midfield instead of just Henderson just hoofing it or whatever, how things would have been. But I really thought on this day, and I don't know if you guys also thought that, but I just thought Endo was much better than Rodri. This was his game, obviously. It's not a statement. So good. Sensationally.
I mean,
I'll agree with the combo that you have a Mac Allister and Szoboszlai with Endo in it. It became a really great combo. I don't know if that other combination otherwise would have. Yeah. But sure. I was also reading the statistic that with Endo starting, Liverpool haven't really lost. Drew a game. Exactly. So I don't know if that is something that is again another Klopp thing where he just found like a really good a combination in the midfield.
I think he found a guy who's thankful to be playing in this position, right? Who's not like, wait. And I think it's a very big thing to find a player who's just like, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Because he's also 30 and he understands that. And of course, maybe like he's famously said, I'm 30, but my body is a little younger and all of that. But I also feel like he's a guy who's grateful to be in that position. And two, I think the lack of flair is really good. Like the lack of, I mean that because I think he can control his urges much better than any other player. Like the fact that in 90 minutes, he didn't put one long pass. And I don't know if you noticed in the first half, Liverpool's entire strategy was like when the defenders would put the ball over the midfield.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Which means if that was a strategy given to the defenders, the instructions to the midfielders were very clear. That Endo and Mac Allister win the ball and do short passes, and Dominic Szoboszlai puts the crosses in and whatever and does the runs. Right? And like I said, any other younger talented midfielder, any player with a little more flair, any player from other parts of the world, the South American part of the world, they would have tried one cheeky long pass. But this guy shut it down, won the ball, did short passes. I think that to me was excellent. Like, I was so impressed with him. I was so impressed.
I mean, yeah, I do agree. Like, Endo has been a fantastic signing for Liverpool as far as emergency signings to cover injuries.
Yeah.
I think Wataru Endo has been a phenomenal signing for Liverpool. Completely agree.
In a way, in a very niche way, you would call him the signing of the season. You know what I'm trying to say? In this very weird way, like as a way of to be like the most unexpected. You know what I'm trying to say? If there was a category called the unexpected signing of the season or like the surprise of the season, maybe surprise of the season would be him, because to outperform Rodri is not an easy thing, especially in the current form Rodri is in. Bro, I thought he was much better than
You're
Rodri.
Creating award categories like Tottenham fans creating
I'm like, if there was series stardust.
If there was a Premier League for not letting Arsenal win the Premier League, we would have won that Premier League. Like, it's better, yaar.
Guys, this is like, I mean, as you said, Tottenham and Arsenal, like, remember, this is an amazing thing. They actually celebrated a thing called St. Totteringham's Day. Which is the day, which they've created a festival on the day Tottenham finishes above Arsenal, and it's like numerically impossible for Arsenal to finish above them. It's apparently St. Totteringham's Day, and they've actually created that holiday. But
I would say it's more like
low. Bar is solo. I would say it's more like Stardust Awards or whatever. Like Millennium of the Icon.
Yeah, not film.
Icon of the Millennium, sorry.
Yeah.
We love film.
Basically,
it was good work.
They do give us good work. They probably don't listen to this podcast, so I think we are fine.
There's another player, by the way, that actually kind of stood out for me, but also there's one more question. Arbin R pointed this out as well. He's saying, what is Luis Diaz?
What is Luis Diaz?
Come on.
Yeah,
that 60th to 65th minute, I don't know, that 5 minutes of gameplay where he just bombarded with those shots.
And also Rodri was on the floor. Kyle Walker's trying to catch up with him. That burst of energy. Oh my God.
I really thought that Liverpool had that. In those 5 minutes, I really thought Liverpool had that game.
See, I saw some of his butt. I saw some of Luis Diaz's shooting skills. I saw some of his shooting skills, and I was like, उसका dad को kidnap करो वापस, बहुत हरामी playing. I was like, dude, because the coming to his dad every time he missed, like, oh my God, that meant an extra touch always, and that really, because Liverpool were like really piss poor with their finishing, right? And that's what I'm saying. If there was a Jota up front, or there's that sensational pass from Salah at some point in the second half that Luis Diaz just could not put it in, and I was really disappointed with that. But
So wait, are you trying to say that when Luis Diaz is on the wings, like his dad should be fine in the stands, but as soon as he cuts into the center,
these two guns pop up from his side. And if he spurs, the guns go out. And if he doesn't get the guns, just stay there. And they come closer and closer and closer. And until the point the finger and the trigger reach the frame. That's when you know he better fucking like get a shot inside the goal and not just a shot on target. Oh man, he was so good on the wings, but so shitty inside the box. What did you guys think of him dropping like Rodri and Kyle Walker on the floor? Like that too, he won the ball at the Liverpool mid box at the edge of the big D, and he took it till the other end while these two were chasing him. My God, that was so good.
Yeah. So my honest opinion on that was nobody gives a fuck because we're not Liverpool fans. So enough about this shit. I want to talk about the
sad.
Fine. If you really want to get an opinion, I'll tell you, right? Not like my opinion matters at all, but I'll still tell you because you wanted to hear something, right?
It matters to me.
I mean, Diaz still made a great run, right? Diaz still made a great run, right? Whatever. Like Diaz is great and all, but I think he was just fed the ball really well. What he does with that was pretty poor. That'll agree with you.
Prash, you had such a great opportunity here to be like, no, because you wanted an opinion, I'll tell you. Nobody gives a fuck. Okay, no, listen, the reason why I'm being so blunt is because I want to go on to the next point, which is also in your favor, bastard. Doku's challenge on Mac Allister.
Yeah.
That should have been a penalty.
That's what.
Yeah.
Daksh.
Guys, again,
Daksh landed up asking the same thing. He's saying, do you still think that Man City can win their fourth title, and was the Doku challenge a penalty?
Oh my God, guys.
Do I still think, I mean, yes and yes. I think the answer to both those questions is yes.
Man City might win.
Because there is no world where Man City cannot win the title unless it is mathematically impossible for them to win the title. And I feel like they're a team where it won't be mathematically impossible for them to win the title till the last
because
game.
They are the Gryffindor of Dumbledore or some. They'll come from somewhere and give them points.
And of course, that
Doku challenge
was a penalty. It's a high boot, man. Like, it's so simple. It's a high boot. And like Klopp said, anywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul and possibly even a yellow card. So why is that not given in the box? Interesting choice of words from Klopp though, because he said he goes for the ball and that's fine, but he doesn't get the ball and he kills him.
Yeah. Guys, come on. I mean, that was terribly and I don't know why they didn't give it. Like, it was not even a time issue because the game was done. It was just one kick and the game was done.
I think it's because 115 charges, for some reason, numerologically do not make sense. So somebody feels like 116 is better.
117. Man,
maybe they'll keep doing these dodgy decisions till 120, nice round figure.
See, 3 terrible big decisions that have gone against Liverpool. One against that Tottenham game, right? For the dodgy red cards. Then against Arsenal, there was that handball, which they agreed later was a handball by Odegaard in the penalty box. And now this, which was, again, that should have been a penalty, which would have given Liverpool 2 extra points. Pretty much like 6 points that Liverpool have. By now, Liverpool should be flying away with the title. With the lead, at least. So, yeah. I don't know why I'm asking you guys to note this as if there'll be like a retribution for this later. Because if they lose, they lose.
Yeah.
But I didn't shit. That was a garbage. Which is why...
That was a garbage decision, and Klopp was very, very right to be pissed off about it, and as should all Liverpool fans be, because, it does shape the title race in a slightly different way. But what that means is, with this result, Arsenal are now, like I said, top of the table, albeit on goal difference. They're still top of the table. And they got there because they beat Brentford 2-1. And Aaron Ramsdale was in goal because David Raya, who's on loan from Brentford, was ineligible to play for this game. And Aaron Ramsdale proving to the world and to Mikel Arteta that even if he was ineligible, they should have still somehow played David Raya and paid off the fine if there is a fine, and just been like, चलना ठीक है, 300,000 pounds वगैरह कुछ तो रहेगा, हम लोग दे देंगे यार. fuck it. This is not worth it. Because what was that error for Johan Vissa's goal? I mean,
Karius-esque, no idea.
No, I think it is Ramsdale-esque only because, like we have discussed on this podcast very extensively, Ramsdale has samne se come on and said that he does not concentrate in matches. He has said that, I can concentrate for 10 minutes max and then I'm gone. Like I'm thinking about other things and then I'm back.
Luckily,
he does not have the concentration span to last 90 minutes, and it showed because that was one of the easiest back passes that he could have got.
Should have, yeah. It was like straight through, right?
Just
I think he had him on the right and he didn't go for it.
him.
He wanted to go a little longer or something.
Yeah.
Just hood died out. No one would have judged him.
Yeah, exactly. But you also have to give credit to Vissa because Vissa chased that ball when many other strikers would have thought it was dead. But he still went for it. You think somewhere strikers like Vissa also just sniff out the lack of concentration from a keeper, just the underconfidence of having not played enough games. Strikers like Vissa can actually sniff that out and pounce on it.
I think it was a good.
I don't know about that
because
exactly.
Because I think he slid, right. Like it could have been a tackle. So maybe you're right. Maybe they've done this. Maybe there's a calculation that hey, footwork of this keeper is weak.
Exactly.
Just go for it.
But even that. But even to make that calculation, I think that takes a lot of intuition. And I don't know if it is just on the training ground or if it is individually linked to Vissa because it was just a case of pressing the goalkeeper, right? Like, and a lot of times, strikers, especially playing against teams who play from the back, don't do that. Unless they absolutely last minute have to. It's not like strikers always press the keeper when they know that the opposing team is good at playing out from the back and that is their footballing philosophy. But Vissa still goes for it because you kind of, like you said, maybe know that Ramsdale is not as good with his feet as David Raya is. And it's something to test. And they did get the goal. But on the other end, it was Kai Havertz again getting on the score sheet and rescuing 3 points for Arsenal. Kai Havertz has suddenly become a fantastic player for Arsenal.
Yes, but also, by the way, he should have had a second yellow, I think, or something like that, right? He was time wasting earlier on. Something he did something shady before, which means that again things are going in favor of Arsenal. But yes,
basically you're trying to say that things are only going in favor of teams that are not Liverpool.
Mostly, I'm saying things are going in favor of City and Arsenal. I'm not saying things are like. I'm not saying things are crazy for Crystal Palace. Like I'm not saying.
Buddy.
Palace is where it's at. Where's the corruption at?
If Fulham get decisions given in their favor, then they're obviously not. I don't think Liverpool would give a fuck. So yeah, there we go. Right, on that note, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll talk about United versus Everton and Tottenham's routing of Unai Emery's Aston Villa. See you on the other side. Welcome back to the Cornflake, everybody. And we still continue to start the second half with your questions because we have a couple more. Questions with the corner flag.
Dude, answers also, huh?
Yes, the first one is by Dark Horse Coolers. I still can't pronounce his name, but I'm just going to take it out. His name is Asher. Asher.
They are the Barcelona fans. Coolers.
Coolers. He says, what are your thoughts on the new UCL format of league matches?
30.
I hate it. Messi,
why fix something that isn't broken?
No, come on. I do understand that. It's not like, there's a way in which the current Champions League matches are feeling a little dull in the sense that it's not until semis, finals, or maybe even quarterfinals that they're not feeling exciting. You don't feel like some juicy draws. You haven't felt which was the last Champions League upset in any form. Like I think Ajax reaching the finals, or maybe Tottenham reaching the finals in 2019 was probably the closest to some sort of an upset. Like otherwise, it's always been so predictable and boring since, right? Like it's been what the winners have been: Man City, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and then whoever before that. It's been a little dull. So I get the need to change it up. But I think because it's like The real solution is, hey, let's make it more equal. But who wants that solution? Like, who's gonna do it? Who's gonna be like, hey man, let's make teams more equal?
Like, my problem with it is that is the selling point of this new format, but it's actually not going to end up being this way. It is basically, this new format is basically European Super League light.
Yeah.
Let's be very honest.
I agree.
It is getting the players to play way more matches because you want the television revenue.
Yeah.
And it's basically that. And honestly, I'll give it, if you're saying, I'll give it some benefit of the doubt. Yes, even the current Champions League format was not the original format of the Champions League. So yes, tournaments do evolve and things do change, and that is the way of life. But yeah, like maybe, honestly, like I
hate it. I don't like it.
I'm not a big fan of how they've set it up for next season. It is going to be a bit of a culture shock next season when we watch it.
Yeah.
Although having said that, United are not going to be in it, so who gives a shit anyway? But I'd still probably give it a chance and see how it goes. You never know. You might just end up liking the format once you actually see it play out. And I think we'll just have to wait and watch.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of it at all. I think it's trying to solve a good problem, but I think it's trying to solve it. It's not the correct solution.
Yeah.
Fair. The next one by Fazil Abbas Banatwala. I really like this question. He says, "Football छोड़ो, मुंबई में वड़ा पाव सबसे अच्छा कहाँ मिलेगा वो बताओ भाई लोग."
Ashok Vada Pav near Dadar.
Ashok Vada Pav.
In Dadar, that's the place to be. Every time a family member or a friend has visited, that's where I've taken them. Their mind has been blown.
As a
college one?
Yep. As a Dadar boy,
cool,
I second this message and I endorse this fully.
Yes, Amok took me there and
yes.
blew my mind. So please, like,
there's no doubt. There's no competition, guys. There's no competition.
I mean, there is competition, but it's not as good.
There is a guy in Worli Vada Pav, but nothing. This is really the best.
Not Worli. If you said Mithi Bhai, I would have still been okay, but
no, fuck that. Fuck Mithi Bhai. If you want a close second place, then go to Shivaji Park, where
I used to be.
No. Actually, in Shivaji Park, where the Bengal Club is, right next to Bengal Club, there's a small little opening opposite the Savarkar Memorial. There is a place there. This is also the vada pav that Sachin Tendulkar famously loves because he used to practice cricket at Shivaji Park.
He
used to go eat there. That comes a close second. Although I would say if you go there, try their bhajia pav over their vada pav. That's infinitely better.
And that's all the questions we've had.
Awesome, lovely. I love it when this food podcast becomes a football podcast. And yeah, it's a lovely little crossover and fuck, I love that. I love these questions. I love it. I like it.
I feel like we need to go and get a vada pav after this.
Yeah, man. I also love the fact that Man United beat Everton 2-0, and I hate the fact that Akash isn't here to talk about it.
Can we all decide club for? Can we all make Akash support Arsenal or something so that then it feels like an even representation, and so that we can just be like, hey Akash, you know how sometimes people convert religion, right? Can we do like some sort of football J word
conversion? Yeah,
football conversion where we can get him to.
No, I'll tell you what, it was a great game because it was two absolutely horrendous teams putting in two absolutely horrendous performances.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah, the football is so terrible.
And somehow United keep a clean sheet and score 2 goals.
And it was one of those sort of games where at some point in the game, in the Everton small D, there were like 12 players, excluding the keeper. You know what I'm saying? It was like scrappy. It was like the definition of scrappy. Like there were 12 players, and I'm like, and they just trying to kick about, and there's bodies on top of each other. Oh, that just really felt like that's probably how football looked when they started playing in like the 19th century or something. Like, 12 players in a big D just scrambling about, and then the goalkeeper just lunges onto it and saves it. And that's actually what happened, I think. I actually watched the match pretty much fully. And I think the commentator at some point said in a message in the group, he said, watching Everton play football is like watching someone cut a cold loaf of bread with a blunt knife. I was like, oh, that's high.
I appreciate the talent of commentators to bring in extremely obscure yet very, very specific and oddly fitting examples from real life.
Yeah, that happened to that commentator that morning. he didn't have breakfast and he had to come for the show or something.
Imagine the life of that commentator. He's like, Tenchok, मेरा पाव एक तो ठंडा है, मेरे पास शार्प वाली नाइफ नहीं है, इसके वजह से मैं ब्रेकफास्ट नहीं खा पा रहा हूँ, और इसके बाद मुझे यूनाइटेड वर्सेस एवर्टन देखना है. Fuck my life. Like, what am I doing with my life? But yeah, it was a terrible performance. But I have to say, Garnacho was spectacular again. I think had it not been for his direct running at defenders, those two penalties obviously would not have happened. Two very, very clear penalties, no debate there. And what I find interesting is a lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean a lot of children who have just recently started watching football, are comparing 19-year-old Alejandro Garnacho to 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Which, as a 35-year-old Man United fan who has been watching United since like the 2000s and has seen 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo play for Manchester United, is absolute bullshit. Because 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, for you children who have just started watching and think Ronaldo has always been this fantastic athlete that he is, 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United was an asshole. He was one of the most frustrating players to watch as a United fan. He was as frustrating, maybe a little less frustrating than what Anthony is right now. The only reason he was not that frustrating, but it is true. The only reason why he was not as frustrating is because Anthony cost us £85 million and Ronaldo cost us £12 million as a 19.
But which back then was about a 40 million now, right? 40 million, 50 million now.
Yeah, but 40 is still better than 85.
I know. Yeah, also, I think it's a little unfair.
Tomorrow,
of course, I don't remember.
No, if we would have paid 40 million now for Anthony, I would have still been not as frustrated with his output. But going back to 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo was obviously, he was good. Like, he was entertaining, no doubt, with all the step overs and the fancy tricks and slick skills and flicks and all of that. But uska output fuck all tha. He would never make the right pass. He would shoot and never hit the target. He would try to do things all by himself. Which was incredibly frustrating to watch because you had such good players around him who could actually put the ball in the back of the net. And he was coached out of doing that. And he grew and matured into a much better player who worked for the team. So,
imagine
that is a very, very bad comparison.
See, that is also the key
Garnacho
statement.
Is already that.
No, but also that is also the key statement that this is Ronaldo working for the team. People always call this Ronaldo selfish. They don't know that what that Ronaldo was like. The 19-year-old who used to just do step overs and rainbow flicks and all that shit on the no, but I think it's a little harsh on Ronaldo. But fair enough, it's your analysis. So
exactly.
I mean, when I used to watch him, I was so entertained. So I loved it. But yeah, fair enough. Fair feelings.
What was Liverpool doing in that era?
Liverpool was like, they went to a Champions League, won a final, lost a final, went to semis once or twice. Then in the Premier League, I think
I'm talking about when he was 19. Yeah, you had not started watching football then.
What? I was doing what Liverpool was doing.
But that was not when Ronaldo was 19. 2005 is not when he was 19. 2005 when he was, I think, 21 or something.
Oh, then definitely I didn't. Yeah.
Big difference. He had started maturing then. But yes, I mean, the result is big for Man United because they moved from 6th place to 6th place. So massive strides being made in the Premier League table. But right above them was another important fixture because Aston Villa and Tottenham went head-to-head at Villa Park. The battle for 4th place between Villa and Spurs raging on. And Spurs winning this comfortably by 4-0. Aston Villa were absolutely abject in this
shit.
Yeah, it was a very unlike. This is also at home, so I really thought Aston Villa will take points definitely from the game. In a way, maybe hoping 3, but I definitely didn't expect. I know someone like a John McGinn is this leader that they go around, they rally around him, and Ollie Watkins is in such great form. And to be picked, they were just picked apart. And because also, I think the first half was 0-0. But after they scored 2 goals, I think John McGinn just lost his composure, went for that horrendous tackle. One of the few justified straight-up raids.
Yeah.
But and then, yikes, that was very bad.
I always find it hilarious when a player makes a tackle like that and then starts protesting. Arey, maine kya kiya? Main kya kiya? Ye to theek tha na.
I was just going for the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. I was very surprised. What do you think? Why do you think they lost? Why do you think they were so...
because of that moment.
Just frustration.
But they were already 2 down by then, which justified frustration.
So, but now that's the thing, right? Like, their defense just looked like they were not in it. All right from the start, like those first 2 goals were bad defending.
Yeah.
And then when they go a man down, it just kills the game for them. Because
the game was killed.
At 2-0, if they still had 11 men, Emery could have made some tactical tweaks, because you can trust a manager like Emery to be able to do that.
Yeah.
He could have made some tactical tweaks and they could have got a goal in. And if they got 2-1, they could have got 2-2. For sure. You can really expect an Aston Villa to do that. And especially with the amount of stoppage time that Premier League games go into now, there is always a chance with teams like these in the 10 minutes of added time that you get in the second half, kuch na kuch to ho
at home that too. Because you're at home, maybe, the forced result.
Correct. So even 2-0 is not a done result for a team like Spurs against Villa. Had Villa continued to have 11 men on the pitch, they could have still had a chance. But as soon as McGinn makes that horrific decision to go in for that tackle on Udogie the way he did, he's let his team down. He's put them with a man disadvantage, and then Spurs are just running riot. Spurs also are a team that will capitalize on that advantage, because we know how Postecoglou wants to play. We know that he wants to play on the front foot. We know he wants to play fluid attacking football, and we know now that he has the players to do that, with Maddison in there, with Brennan Johnson in there, and with Son with his new responsibilities, now Timo Werner as well. So with a man down, they are obviously going to capitalize, and that's what they did. Like, the next 2 goals were just so easy. They're like playing FIFA on fucking easy mode.
I don't think that last goal.
Yeah, also that I think this Timo Werner is probably probably the world's best goal scorer if football was 11 versus 10 game. Like, he seemed just so confident. He seemed so
that
confident. That
goal was not necessary. Like, if you
think
last
about
few
it,
minutes of the game.
Yeah. If you think about it, this is actually the time pass. Like, sorry, say.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that they were just doing time pass. They wanted to just kill off time. And somehow Werner was like, "Nay, I want to get a goal. I will make it a point I get a goal." So he put himself in that position and he went for it. So
and I'm like, this is the worst possible. This is the worst possible result for Villa, right? If it was a draw, it suits them, because it just means Tottenham doesn't gain any better. Even if they lost by 1 goal, I think maybe on goal difference, they'd still be comfortably, in a comfortable position with a couple of things. But here it's like they lost the chance to not make Tottenham get any points, and they lost their goal difference. And they lost their goal difference by a huge amount, and it was like it was a worse result for us. Like, I think even at 2-0, even if they just ended up losing, say, 2-1, right, which could have still been a very positive, like a good result at home, in a sense that your goal difference is still, it's still protected, and you can sort of hope Tottenham to lose their momentum or whatever, lose that extra game in hand. But now, not only do Tottenham have the better goal difference, but they also have the game in hand. That means even if they win their next game just by 1-0, they're good. They're good to go. They made it.
Fantastic stuff. I think Ange Ball is really taking shape, and they had a little bit of a wobble in the middle, but they've really kind of arrested that. Right. Chelsea is going to take on Luton, is it? No, Chelsea is taking on
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Newcastle.
Chelsea's taking on Newcastle late tonight at 1:30. Prash, how are you feeling about it?
Indifferent.
It's a perfect mid-table clash, guys. It's a perfect mid-table. It's perfect. It's 10th versus 11th. Like, my God.
Okay, this happened earlier. this perfect mid-table clash happened when Chelsea had a playing against Wolves also. It felt the same.
Oh shit!
And now again, we've lost position further, and now we've come to 10th to 11th. So it's
Oh damn it!
Prash, what do you think? Prash, what do you think about Pochettino's pre-match press conference comments where he said that I hope Chelsea fans treat me like Newcastle fans treat Eddie Howe. They support him.
hey man,
And
I don't know why he would go and say stuff. I think he's been saying some dumb shit also quite lately. He's saying that if you go and ask the players if they want to get rid of me, if they feel like they need to get rid of me, then then we can take this up with the sporting director and the owner and all that stuff. Why?
It reeks of a manager who knows that the players want to get rid of him. And the owners
but
want
it's
to get
almost like now he's already accepting the fact that I know I'm going to get the sack. But when it happens, I'm not going to be the one who's going to be surprised. You guys need to be ready with it.
Yeah,
because
he's starting to build the narrative right now.
Yeah, he's already starting to do that. So it's not looking good. Like when you say stuff like that, don't. Especially when you're trying to instill the fact that, like I'm trying to build the club, just keep your head down and do the job, man. I'll believe in you.
Yeah. Thoughts for predictions before we wrap up for today's episode? Just so that tomorrow when this episode releases, the listeners can find out if we were right or not.
I think a draw. I'm saying a 1-1 draw.
Put some score to it. Yeah, 1-1. Good. 1-1 draw is nice.
Yeah, I would hope for a 1-1, but I don't think that'll be true. I don't know. 2-1 maybe to Newcastle. It feels like it.
I feel 2-1 to Chelsea.
Okay, if we have all three results, let's see who's right.
Let's see who's right.
You want to make one, because it is a Chelsea and Newcastle game. You want to make one crazy, like, okay, I don't know, will there be, okay, I think there might even be an own goal.
Oh, let's see. Raising the stakes, Mukesh Manjunath. Well done.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, it is time to end this episode of The Corner Flag. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us and tell us what you thought of this episode or any other episode, you can reach us on our social media. You can find Prashant on Instagram at
Prash224.
You can find Mukesh on Instagram at
Mukesh Manjunath.
And you can find me on Instagram at Amogran Dive.
That's because his name is Luis Diaz Wataru Endo Jarel Kwanzaa.
Guys, I'm going to stop recording soon because I need to check up on my dad. You can also follow the Corner Flag on Instagram and Twitter @CornerFlagPod. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@CornerFlagPod for video snippets from these episodes and lots more. Shout out to Kazad Gurda for composing our theme tune. And that's it from us for this week. See you next time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. So see you there. Do not forget to follow us, support us, review us, do all those things. And we'll see you next week. So say bye, Prashant.
Bye, guys.
Say bye, Mukesh.
Bye, guys.
And it's bye from me.